Hi, I'm Rod Chappell and welcome back to the Rod Chappell Show. We bring real-life legal issues and programs for real people. Today we have Mike Cuty, who is the Juvenile Court Administrator here in Cole County. Mike, thanks and welcome back to our show.
Thank you, Rod.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. You know, in the past we've had an opportunity to talk about some of the issues that are facing Cole County, and wanted to have you back because it's good that we keep our eye on what's actually happening in our neighborhoods, literally. I noticed that recently, before we even get to that, Mike, can you tell us about yourself a little bit?
Okay. I came to Jeff City back in 1978 from Kansas City, hoping to get a supervisor's job and take it back to Kansas City. And I've been here ever since, working with the Division of Youth Services and the Department of Mental Health, retired from there. Yeah. And I've been with the Cole County Juvenile Court for going on 9 years now.
Wow, wow. That's excellent, that's excellent. And dealing with juvenile courts, can you tell me, is there a way to track how Cole County's doing compared to the rest of the state or even the rest of the nation?
Well, we have it within our system as for the State Court Administrator's Office. They track all of the activities within juvenile court across the state of the 45 circuits. Mm-hmm. We are one of 10 single county circuits in the state of the 45, Cole County, where we are completely funded by the county. And I have to say that our Cole County Commission has worked very well with our system in making sure that we have the necessary resources in order to provide the programming and oversight for kids here in the Cole County area. Mm-hmm. When you look at Cole County, we cover 4 school districts. You got the Jeff City School District, we have the Blair Oaks School District, the Eugene School District, and Russellville School District that we cover. So we deal with issues from birth through up to age 17. And when I say birth, that's dealing with issues around abuse and neglect within the home. Gotcha. As you get older, there may be issues around delinquency issues. You've got status offense issues, and when I say status offense, if you were an adult, it would not be a crime, such as running away, curfew violation, beyond parental control, or not going to school, truancy. So those would be considered the status offense.
A couple of those might apply to married people.
I'm not even going there at this point, but it is an interesting dynamics working with our young people here in Cole County.
It's got to be. And so within, for example, we have the Prenger Center here in Jefferson City.
Yes, we do.
Does that include everybody from all these other school districts? Would they come there?
Right. Our center is really the hub for Cole County when it comes to issues dealing with juveniles and their families. We're considered a family court. So as issues come up, we have individuals that we have on our court services side, our probation officers. I have legal counsel, and we have also within our center, we have a residential program that individuals can be referred to us either through the Children's Division or also when they go to court having issues around behavior, delinquency issues, status offense issues can be referred to our residential program, and that's all done by court order.
Okay. Well, and that seems like a lot right there. For various reasons, I get asked many times, there's an idea that minorities are disproportionately or have disproportionate contacts with the criminal justice system, and that's whether they're adults, whether they're driving on the streets, which we've seen through racial profiling, specifically here in Missouri, and that bears out. How about on the juvenile side? Is there a way to quantify that? Or?
Well, that is an area that we've been working on for the last 3 years now here in Cole County. Unfortunately, Cole County is #1 in the state when it comes to disproportionate minority contact with the court. And that's through a number of different venues. It's not that they're all being brought in because of police contact.
Okay.
And when you're saying contact with the court, that is anyone being referred to the court.
Okay.
And so we have a number of individuals being referred by their parents.
Wow.
Either that they're running away, they're not going to school, their parents are feeling that they're out of their control and wanting the court to step in.
Gotcha.
So, and when you look at our minority population here within Cole County, it falls in about 12.6%.
Okay.
Would be the minority population within Cole County.
Gotcha.
And when you go back and look at the statistics, for minorities being referred to juvenile court, it ranges anywhere between 22 up to 23%. So if we were in Kansas City or St. Louis, the minority population is so high, it does not reach that threshold. It will always stay within that referring status.
I see.
Where they have. So, but because we have our minority population is not that high, and you have the number of referrals coming in, be it through school for truancy or through the parent or through their own fault, because they are referred, police are called to an establishment because someone stole something or shoplifting. And because of that referral, they're brought into us. Not all of them will we deal with on an ongoing basis. And one of the interesting things about juvenile court is it's where the child lives and where you take care of that issue. Say that we get a youngster from Columbia visiting a family here in Jeff City,
Okay.
and they get stopped or they're picked up because of shoplifting. They are referred back to Columbia where they live, and that court will deal with it, versus if you were an adult. If it happened here in Cole County would be dealing with that.
Right. Okay. Okay. And this is up through age 17, right?
Up to age 17, that is correct.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, with that as a backdrop, there's got to be, and I know that there's some programs, but if you don't mind, can we talk about some of those?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Most definitely. We have a number of programs that we are working with. One of the things that we have one diversion program that we have in place right now that we've been working on for the last 3 years. And that's our truancy program, kids not going to school. And we kind of break that down into 2 categories. From 6th grade up to age 17, we call that a truant. Person's not going to school, they have that choice. Parents are trying to get them there, they may go and then leave. Then you have the other category, children that fall between the grades of kindergarten and 5th grade.
Okay.
I call that educational neglect. That parent has the ability to get them there. And we have some families that, for some reason, do not value education. They're not getting their child to school on a regular basis, or not at all. Or when they do get there, they're coming in at 9:30, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, when
Right.
school starts at 8 o'clock. And so that in itself falls into the educational neglect area. And I talked to you earlier about from birth to 17,
Yes.
neglect and abuse issues.
Right.
That's where that would fall into under an educational status.
I see.
At that point. So our truancy program, we have Judge Cotton Walker, who's the municipal court judge. He has volunteered his time to work with us, and we meet every other Wednesday at 5 o'clock at the Cole County Courthouse.
Wow.
And this is a family issue, not just a child issue. So if they fall between the ages of the grade 6 and up to age 17, it's child and parent
Oh, okay.
come. And then we monitor, we try to identify what those issues may be with that family, if it's transportation, whatever it may be, we're working with them. For those that are from K through 5, we don't we don't need that child there. The parent comes. The parent identifies why, what steps are they taking, what changes they're going to be making in order to make sure their child is there on time and ready to learn.
Gotcha.
So when we look at the non-attendance issues, we're not just looking at it that they're not coming to school, but you're also wanting to make sure that they are there also to learn.
Right.
And so we're looking at monitoring the grades, other behavioral issues that they may have within the school setting. For some, because their behavior is so entrenched in not wanting to come to school, we may have assigned a tracker to work with that family and child, meeting with them in the evenings, trying to identify what those issues are and working with them. Okay. It's amazing that we get a number of families calling our office or calling the police department saying, my child won't go to school, will you come and get them?
Wow.
And so that is, we cannot be everything to everyone.
Right, sure.
And one of the things that we're wanting to do is try to identify those resources within the community before they are referred to juvenile court.
Right.
And so we are also working with the Boys and Girls Club to develop a diversion program for those kids that are referred because of fighting. We call that misdemeanor assault.
Okay.
For
no, wait. Just, you say fighting.
For fighting. You may have kids that may start a little issue within the community, and then next thing you know, it's already taking it to school.
So as I was growing up, this would have been the bus stop fight. This would have been the one after school at 3:30 down by the railroad tracks or something like that.
That is correct.
Okay.
And it gets to the point that lots of times when the police are called to that scene, they do a very good job in trying to diffuse the situation so that they don't have to bring them down to our center. They're trying to contact parents or other relatives that can come and take care of that issue there. For those that cannot and they have no means of contacting the parents, they have no other resource but to refer down.
Wow.
So when we get those individuals, we're wanting to make sure that we're wanting to divert them from our system. And we're partnering with the Boys and Girls Club for those individuals up to 3 referrals would be deferred directly to the Boys and Girls Club. They've got some very good diversionary programming in the Boys and Girls Club for and we're targeting grades 6th through 8th.
Okay.
And if we can divert that type of individual into a more positive transition where they'll not have to come through our system, you hear the term pipeline to prison.
Right, sure.
And if we can prevent a child from penetrating our system further and stopping them at the very beginning, I think we do that child and family a benefit. And so we are working with the Boys and Girls Club, going after a grant so that they can be referred over to that program. Mind you, that is a voluntary program, so it's not mandatory.
Sure.
So be child and parent agreeing that they will participate within that particular program.
That's great. Many times people, I think, would consider the Boys and Girls Club as more of an after-school kind of thing. Most folks, I don't think, know that they have programs on this level.
Oh, and this is, it's on a national level, and I think and one of the nice things about our Boys and Girls Club, once they get their new facility,
yes,
they'll be able to really blossom and really provide more services than they have not been able to provide because of the smallness of their current facilities.
Oh, I imagine. And plus being located on a college campus, having those resources available. And it seems like the Boys and Girls Club has been embraced in the way they ought to be by the community at this point.
Oh, most definitely. And I think that with this new effort and with the existing support the community has, along with the United Way and other service clubs, we should be able to see a large impact. I'm hoping that through that particular program, with our truancy program, we can reduce that contact with the court, so that we will start seeing our numbers fall.
Right.
So when I talk about any child from 6th grade to 8th grade, if they come in for a misdemeanor assault, misdemeanor stealing, that is individual stealing under $500,
Okay.
or theft, we would refer to the Boys and Girls Club on a voluntary basis. Parent and child would have to agree, and I believe that that will provide them with an array of options, and we're looking forward to that relationship.
That's great. Now, what about, I understand that there's a parenting program.
Yes, we started our parenting program about 5 years ago, and it has been a real successful program. We started out working with our older youth, from youth 10 to 17, and we got such a high demand for working with new families, for newborns up to age 6 on parenting issues. We expanded that program to that particular area, and it has been very successful. We've been very fortunate to be able to team up with 2 respected individuals within our community, Dr. Simmons and Mary Simmons, former faculty here at Lincoln University.
Right.
So they came in, developed the parenting program. They've refined it, and it's a model program now. Even my own staff has sat through that program and has identified it as being very positive.
Well, in parenting, I'm a parent, you're a parent. What are some of the issues, or what might someone expect to learn in one of these classes? Or in the program?
What we're looking at is really, we have a number of grandparents that have raised their kids, and now they're having to raise their grandkids. And so their parenting skills have been somewhat displaced over time. So now we're saying you have a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, we're asking you to take care of.
Gotcha.
And it's going back and saying, we've got to set some guidelines. We've got to be consistent.
Right.
How do we set those contracts in place? How the communication, because you talk, even I know I've got 2 boys, and when I talk one way, they talk another way. Our language, there's a language barrier.
Sure, right.
There. They talk in code, I call it. And it's the same way with our grandparents. And also, we're reuniting them with the responsibilities of having to take over that responsibility of raising grandkids and being consistent. And then also getting kids. When you have to start parenting individual at age 14, 15, and they've been able to do whatever they want to for the last 3-4 years.
I can't imagine.
You talk about putting boundaries in place. It's really a tug of war.
Right.
Right there. So, and I believe with our program, it helps each party to understand their areas of responsibility. And also, we have another number of parents that are wanting to be their child's best friend. And I'm saying that is good, but not at this age.
Right.
At this age, you're the authoritarian. You're the parent. You've got to parent.
Right.
As your child leaves the home, gets a job, gets married, they come back. That relationship changes, so you become more of an advisor
Right.
to your child. And lots of times you'll see them coming back wanting that advice.
Yeah.
So that dynamics change. So, but as they're in school and whatever, you've got to be able to put down the line, be consistent, and sometimes it's hard to say no, and you're wanting to give them bending the rules.
Right.
And with most kids, they will want to see how far can I go.
Oh, sure. And I imagine this isn't, trying to watch TV until 9 o'clock on Friday night. this probably is consistently missing or not participating in school, maybe abuse of drugs or alcohol, not coming in at night, those kinds of things.
Oh, most definitely. You know, their idea of curfew is 12:30. You're 14 years old. I don't think so.
What happened to dark?
You know, what happens when the street light comes on?
Right.
You know, before dark.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So
Wow.
those are the things that they're working on within that particular program.
That's great. That's great. Any idea how many people or parents or children combined have been through there?
I would say we meet that program is a six-week program. We try to maintain it at 10 families at any one time.
Okay.
And I would say over the last 5 years in looking at, we have about 7 sessions a year, averaging between 7 families on each session. We're looking at between 200 and 300 families coming through or being touched by us. And so it's really been a real good program.
Right, because I imagine that part of the aim is that if we can correct some behavior or improve some of the parenting concepts as they're applied earlier, we can eliminate their participation in other programs later on.
Right, and that's one of the things I try to do with our various grants that we go after, trying to expand those dollars to cover more services as they come available. And so this is a service that we can provide for those families that can't afford.
Right.
It's a service for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, are there other programs that you have available?
Well, we have also for individuals that are being referred to our program. We call it what's called a life skills program. It's an eight-week program, and we try to cover areas such as health, finance, nutrition. We look at if you want to be an adult, what do you have to do in order to take care of yourself?
Gotcha.
For life skills.
Right. Right.
I see so many young folks today. They get a car, they drive the car, but they have no insurance.
Right.
They don't register the car.
Right.
And what are those consequences
Right.
as you go down?
Right.
And next thing you know, you're 18 years old, and now you have a suspended license.
Sure. Right.
18.
And probably have a huge fine in some municipality someplace.
You look at that.
Right.
That really becomes a big issue. Man. And so we're trying to talk to the folks. If you want to be a responsible adult, these are some of the responsibilities that you have to have. Right. In order to drive a car, you got to have a license.
Yes.
And folks need to understand, having a license is not a right, it's a privilege.
That's right.
And there's
That's
things
exactly
that you've got to look at. And you've got to treasure that, because it can be taken away real quick if you don't follow certain rules and guidelines.
Right. No, that's right. That's right. Man, these and these programs you've mentioned before that you're working to get grants, for example, with the Boys and Girls Club, I assume in conjunction with them for the diversion program. Are some of these programs funded in part by grant and in part by the county, or?
Well, we work very closely with the Missouri Division of Youth Services.
Okay.
And we try to do it's a diversion program, and we try to divert kids from the state custody.
Okay.
And so as a result, we try to identify what are those gaps that are here within the community. One of the things that we started, it's been around for almost 15, 20 years, and that is called the suspended classroom. And it's in conjunction for those individuals that are suspended from school. You want to make sure that they're in a supervised setting where they are not, where parents are at work, kids, when they say when the cat is away, the mice are at play.
Right.
So we're wanting, just because you're suspended from school should not mean that you go unsupervised. So we worked in conjunction with the school district to make sure that we had a facility, and so we're down at the Miller Performing Arts Center. Okay. And we have, we provide transportation from their home school for the 2 middle schools to get there. And if they get a 10-day suspension and they attend on a routine on for the first 5 days and doing everything they should, that suspension can be cut in half.
Is that right?
Their work is being sent down to the suspended classroom so that they're able to at least get 50% of credit
Right.
for work when they're suspended from school. We're also, while they're there, we try to work on anger issues, anger management, and we have a counselor that is also there working with them on other issues that they may have, and try to get down to the root causes of why did we get suspended?
Yeah.
What could we have done before we got to that point? And we start tracking them over time. I know last year we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 to 450 kids attending that particular classroom.
Wow.
And when I say 450, that is a duplicated number. So
okay.
I don't want you to think that 450 kids were suspended from school.
Little Johnny made it come 2 or 3 times.
That's right.
Okay.
So we've had individuals as they come back through. So it has been a very positive program. And I want to talk about that as a program. Kids do not have to be part of juvenile court in order to participate. That is a prevention program for anyone in the middle school all the way up to high school, even seniors.
Wow.
So in that particular program, you don't have to be under the age of 17 to participate in that. You know,
to get the benefit of it.
Get the benefit. So
Right.
it's considered what we call a primary prevention program. So it covers the entire landscape.
Wow.
So for all kids could participate in that.
Well, and that's great. I mean, that really is. How does somebody, if a family wanted to sign up for it, if they've got a youngster or something?
Well, when an individual is suspended from school, that information is sent home to the parents, where they can go to the suspended classroom. So it's not where they have to sign up and ask to get in there. That information goes home with them. And there may be, for some special circumstances, they may not allow them the very first day of suspension, but shortly thereafter, they can participate in the program depending upon the offense.
Okay. That's great. That is great. And I know your time is valuable. I really appreciate you making I was going to say concession, but making the effort, really, to be here today. I know you had to remove some things in your schedule. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the public about the work you're doing or the work that
Well, I truly believe that we've got a lot of things going on. I truly believe that if we can take some time to devote to kids that may not have that role model,
Right.
can really make a difference in a child's life, in a boy's life, in a girl's life.
Right.
We've got a number of programs like Big Brother, Big Sister program. There's such a long waiting list getting in there because they're trying to get mentors to sign up.
Is that right?
I know that the school district has their mentoring program. I know what the Friday Rotary that I belong to, the West, they have a reading program at the Early Childhood Center every Wednesday morning. It's taking that time to provide us giving back to the community, a service,
Right.
from reading a nursery rhyme, reading to individuals, spending some time with an individual, taking someone to a ball game, or just spending time a couple hours a week.
Right.
Can make a difference in a child's life.
That's huge, Mike.
Yeah.
That's huge. Well, just like the programs that you are facilitate and create, you're absolutely right. The time that we have with children is so important. Thank you. Thanks, Mike, for being here with us today. On behalf of the Rod Chapel Show, my group that's been able to be with us today, we sure appreciate you being with us and look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.